everyone, it's Rhonda here from Nelson Interior Soapery. Today we are going to make our sweet peony rose soaps. So I thought that I would go through it all and hopefully get you all making soap and making something beautiful. So I'm just popping in my lye just here. So the lye sometimes will have, like just little leftover bits in the top if you're using almond milks or oat milk, which we use. So I just put it through a sieve and it really just makes it a lot more smoother, and then you don't get those little bits left behind because you don't need them. It's no big deal if they're in there though, you can do that. So I'm pouring in now all my melted cocoa butters and shea butters and things like that. Depends on your mix what you use, but we do put shea butter in all of our soaps, so it just makes it really silky and smooth and adds a lot of conditioning to the bar of soap. So now I'm just going to mix it with our mixer. We just use a standard mixer. If you're in Australia, you can get this from the Good Guys or Harvey Norman, roughly about $120 I think, so it is quite affordable, and there are some Kmart $20 ones that would work if you're a beginner as well, so you can use those too. I will actually put the links in for a couple of those and hopefully that can help someone out. So I pop in the fragrance oil. I've already pre-measured this. Our fragrance oil, we only use exactly what our suppliers say that we need to use for them. We do not use any extra to make a stronger smell because some people do have allergies, so we strictly keep to that. I think it's actually much better to have a lighter smelling soap anyway. So you can see that I'm just pouring it into the little containers just to separate it so that we can do a 3-color mix. We're going to do a beautiful sort of a deep rose, and then we'll also do like a dusty rose so that we can just do a few pours into the soap to make it look really nice, and we will also do a titanium white. So here I am just popping in my burgundy colors. So we choose to use a number of different suppliers for our colors, but the colors that you can actually see here are a deep maroon, which we've got from Aussie Candles, and it's called Mauve. It's a lip safe one, so it's cosmetic grade, and the code is C177019. So you can pop over there and get that if you like. So we'll mix in the titanium white that you can see us doing here. Titanium is just a teaspoon of titanium with 2 teaspoons of distilled water. And then, you can mix your mixes up. And of course, this is the second dusty colour that we're going to do here, and we pop it all together. As you can see, I'm a little bit messy. I've spilled a few things. I've got to laugh at that really, because my husband says all the time how messy I actually am, which is probably true. I'm a mum of 7 children, so I'm used to doing everything fast and as fast as I can, although my babies are pretty much grown up now. My youngest daughter is 12, so the rest have mostly left the nest now. So just my 12 and 15-year-old, and my son who's 20 lives in a unit that we own at the back of our property. So so still some kids at home. Anyway, off track a bit there, but so now we're just going to pour in the little colours that you can see here, starting with the dusty rose, and then some whites, and the other deeper rose as well. And what it's going to do is when you actually cut the bar, it will just give a really nice colour. I know some of you that may watch this may be more experienced and know that, but I guess beginners may not know why we pot different colours in. So that's why it's just aesthetically pleasing. There's no other reason for it, but it does make a bar look really pretty. And once we finish it off with the roses and stuff on the top, it will just look really, really beautiful. So make sure you're mixing your colours really well. You can see on this little jug that I did leave an extra bit on the side that I didn't rub in properly, but that bit doesn't matter because I'm not actually using that side anyway. But if you don't mix it in, you'll just get a really deep streak of colour, and when someone uses the bar of soap, the streak will just come out in the shower. It's fine, but yeah, just try and mix it in a bit. I was a bit naughty and didn't do that as I was in too much of a hurry, but yeah, do that and learn by my mistake, I guess. So we're almost finished. We try and scrape the containers because you don't want all of that going down the drain. Soap is oil-based, predominantly shea butters and olive oils, and different oils depending what each person's formula is. So yeah, you definitely don't want that going down the drain. So try and scrape it out, and then we rinse ours or wipe them out with paper towels prior to this. So anyway, we've finished that and on to the next bit. Hi guys, we're starting to pipe now, which is what everyone's looking forward to. This is the bit that is the fun bit, I think. So we're going to pipe it in a Wilton's piping tip. It is a much wider piping tip. It's about 1.5 inch across. And yeah, you can use any different size or shape that you like, but this particular one will just give you the nice sort of peaks that look like an ice cream finished off. And we're going to go straight down the centre, which will give a little bit of amount to the soap, which is a bit more attractive when it's finished. And then down the centre, we'll just do a tiny little weenie star in piping, which will give it its little finished peak off. And then we decided actually to do the sides of these as well in a smaller peak. Which just, like I said, gives it a nice finished look. The idea is to put some rosebuds on top, and we need the mount to do that. And it would look a bit weird if the sides weren't done too. So that way, if we do the sides, it just makes it look really uniform and finished right to the edge. And that way you'll come straight up on the bar, and then the edging will be beautiful. And yeah, really nicely done. So as you can see, the cup that I've got there, or the jug, it's probably about 2 cups worth of piping. materials. So if you're doing 2 like I'm doing, do keep at least 2 cups worth so that you can do it, because there's nothing worse than getting halfway down and then you've actually run out of soap mixture. So and it's very hard to get the exact colour, because we've used the titanium white and then added a really tiny bit of the burgundy colour into it, but a very tiny bit. So it's just off-white with a little pinkish tinge. And as you can see with the bag, I didn't have a lot left, but we definitely had more than enough, and a tiny weeny bit left in the container, which is fine with me. We can use it for something else. Usually we'll just mould that in a soap for ourselves at the end of this. So yeah, you can see it looks really nice, and it gives lots of texture to the top of the bar, which is interesting for customers. And now we're actually putting rose tips. These are real roses. They're rose buds that we purchase. So these ones were purchased from Heirloom in Australia, which is an online cosmetics supplier and soap supplier. We've only put one tiny one in per each bar. The reason for it is so that it doesn't go down the drain. Somebody can literally just remove it from the top, but it does make it look pretty, and it's quite aesthetically pleasing for somebody to pick up the bar of soap. It still needs to be interesting to get people to pick it up and love it and want to buy it from us, because we're obviously a business that sells our product. But yeah, and then we've just crushed 2 little tiny buds and put a few little strands of petals on top, nothing much at all. And yeah, and then we make sure it looks just beautiful, ready to go out. It does take some time for us to actually do this. We don't rush anything. We just make sure we do it really lovely. We only try and make a couple bars of soap a day, and then we'll spend part of our other day doing bath bombs. We try and separate it into groups of what we do for the day. And because after the bars are made, there's lots of things that need to happen. So they will need to cure on the shelf for about 6 weeks. We leave ours from anything to 6 to 8 weeks. And once they're actually cured, then comes the job of creating labels for them, shrink wrapping them, and especially with COVID, everything must be shrink wrapped. Okay, so now we've actually finished the soap. We have unloaded it from its little mould, and now the cut begins. So yeah, so you can see that it's a beautiful rose colour, and as my daughter films it for me, we're going to just do the cut straight down the sides, so keeping the bars at roughly about 1 inch, and we'll keep the sides just to give away. Anyway, I hope you love it. I think it looks beautiful. Thanks a lot.